I know it feels like green energy production is in a constant political tug of war, but today I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't give up hope. Just yet. Welcome to the Goodish News channel. I'm Ashley, your professional pessimist. In an effort to be more optimistic, I'm bringing you news stories that won't leave you feeling depressed. Kind of rare these days. I'd also like to thank you for being patient with my extended absence. My family and I moved several states away, and so with that comes days and weeks and even months of packing, cleaning, unpacking, registering kids for school, finding new doctors, all sadly followed by more cleaning. But I am happy to be back, so let's get into that non-depressing news I promised you. Humans have been attempting to harness the power of the sun for millennia. In the 1800s, the photovoltaic effect was discovered by a French scientist named Edmond Becquerel. This is a process where light is converted into electricity. Is that an oversimplification? Yeah, but it's been a rough couple of months, so cut me some slack. Over the decades, scientists experimented with various materials to make an efficient solar energy system, but it wasn't until the 1950s until someone actually kind of made it stick. In 1954, Bell Laboratories filed a patent for their silicon solar cell. It had a whopping efficiency rate of 6%, which is pretty good when you consider the older systems had a rate of 1 to 2%. While scientists have been experimenting and improving upon solar technology for well over a century, its widespread adoption is actually a recent phenomenon. It took until 2022 for the first terawatt of solar power to be installed globally. The second terawatt came just 2 years later, and the third is expected to happen by the end of this year or early next year. The world is now installing a gigawatt's worth of solar panels every 15 hours. This makes solar power the fastest growing power source globally. So what does that even mean in terms we can understand? A gigawatt of electricity is enough to power up to 750,000 homes. So just imagine that much power every 15 hours. Solar energy is giving coal power plants a serious run for their money. Not to mention all the environmental benefits of not pumping tons of CO2 into the atmosphere. In the last year, 96% of the global demand for new electricity was met by renewables, with the US seeing 93% of new generating capacity coming from solar and wind power. In 2024, for the first time, fossil fuels provided less than half of US electricity. And in a rather surprising twist, or at least I thought so, Texas is outpacing California in the installation of renewables and batteries. As good as that all sounds, it's actually nothing compared to China. China produces more solar energy than the rest of the world combined. Not to mention that the country also dominates the solar panel manufacturing market. In 2024, nearly half of all the cars sold in China were either electric or hybrid. The cost of batteries has declined 95% in the last 15 years, with further declines expected as companies bid for contracts. Grid-scale batteries can now power entire cities for hours, which is a key factor in replacing fossil fuel generators. Generating electricity from sunlight is far more efficient than burning fossil fuel, which loses most of its energy as heat. EVs are far more energy efficient than their gas-powered predecessors. A gas-powered car takes 2 to 3 times more energy to run than an EV. Even if an EV uses a charger powered by electricity coming from a coal power plant, it's still more efficient overall than its gasoline-powered counterpart. As the electrical grid continues to decarbonize and relies more on renewable energy, EVs get cleaner every year, whereas gas-powered vehicles just stay the same. Even fossil fuel-rich countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE are investing heavily in renewable energy. Shortage fears for battery and solar minerals like lithium have eased as new sources and better recycling systems emerge. All the materials needed to reach net zero by 2050 would be less than the amount of coal consumed in 1 year. Panels and batteries use far fewer materials than they used to, and advancements in recycling will allow near closed-loop supply by mid-century. Large-scale solar built on former cornfields could supply all US electricity needs with a fraction of current farmland. Why corn, you may ask? Well, it's used to produce ethanol. A 1-acre solar farm produces as much energy as 100 acres of corn-based ethanol. A survey found that 68% of Americans favored solar energy, and 87% of us were in favor of the clean energy tax credits. Forecasts indicate that by 2026, solar will generate more electricity than all the world's nuclear power plants combined. By 2029, it'll generate more than all the hydroelectric dams. By 2031, it will beat out gas, and by 2032, coal. So in a time when it feels like Americans can't agree on anything, just remember, feelings aren't facts. I can't say that all of us are in favor of renewable energy, but the majority of us are, and that's good-ish. And as you know, that's all I shoot for on this channel. If you're looking for more good news in your life, I have another video out today that goes over some real life examples of how solar energy is improving lives on the other side of the world. And if that wasn't enough, I have another video out today on how Amsterdam is saving cats with tiny staircases. Yeah, you heard that right. So be sure to check those out. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing so we can ignore all the bad news together.